Hi everyone. I was supposed to do a reading for the new moon in Chitra, but I decided that this couldn't wait. This had to be talked about now. So what this is going to be is a joint video for Marsha the Great, specifically Marsha the Two Great. I'm putting it up on my backup channel, and also this is going to be an Empress Justice astrology video as well. Only it's not going to be about astrology. It's going to be about the use of symbology, and the occult is going to be referenced here in this video. So this comes under Marsha the Two Great and Empress Justice magic. Okay, so that's what this video comes under, and this video is actually about Taylor Swift. Now, in order to get a real grasp of the story, we have to start in the middle. We've got to start with her recent album, what the fuck is it called again? The Life of a Showgirl. Okay, The Life of a Showgirl is her most recent album, and a lot has been made of her microaggressions against black women, like in a couple of songs on her album. And it's also been described as a narcissistic collapse because there's way more going on with self-reference than there is about collective human experiences. A lot of people notice that she's operating on the same beats when it comes to what she writes about, that she hasn't really grown as an artist. It really gives me Drake, only 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 at the very least Drake actually lost against somebody that he was fighting. Like, he actually lost against another person. Taylor Swift is like she's losing a war that only she's participating in, or at least that's how it appears to look. But the truth is a lot deeper than that. You see, her microaggressions against black women, her self-referencing, all of that. Yes, it is a narcissistic collapse, but it's also a marketing ploy. Remember where the political climate of this world is actually going. The conservative politics are the new mainstream now, whether we like it or not. And Taylor Swift, like anybody else who's literally made billions at this point, she understands that. And on top of that, she has parents still managing her career. One of them is a marketing executive and the other one's a financial advisor. You think they don't know how the political climate can affect somebody's money? Just like Sydney Sweeney, her profile will go quiet for a bit, but then it will resurge slowly but steadily because, like, again, we're leaning more towards a conservative, we're leaning more towards the conservative politics in mainstream. It even comes down to the type of partner that she's picked up. Like, now things are more definitely right wing. Now she can be a bit more open with her allegiances and her true feelings about everyone. And on top of that, she has a boyfriend that reflects the sort of a white supremacist Americana aesthetic. Do you understand what I'm saying? So everything is purposeful. Farming for rage from black people, especially black women, because disregarding black women and disrespecting us and farming rage from us is the new thing now. Like, farming for rage from black women, being self-referential, trying to do a Sabrina Carpenter and talking about dick. All of that, all of these are marketing strategies. Please do not take it as Taylor not knowing what she's doing. She knows exactly what she's doing. She's 35, right? She knows that when people get angry, shit sells. Even white rage is farmed and fucking used and co-opted in specific ways. It's just not in the same way, but rage makes money. Fear makes money. Taylor Swift knows this. She's not stupid. Okay. And she's got people around her who are especially well versed in finance and marketing. And those are just her parents, let alone all the other teams she has around her. Right? They all know. So when it comes to the life of a showgirl and when it comes to her relationship with Travis Kelce, again, people are really like delving into the album and delving into like what her music is saying. And it's like they're close but no cigar, because it's actually bigger than that. It's a lot bigger than that. We're talking about defense systems being incorporated here. And that's actually the reason why I made the video. It wasn't actually just about her album. It was about the larger picture of exactly how Taylor Swift is contributing, or certain celebrities are contributing to the current political climate and the effect that it can have on us all globally, especially within the US and the UK. The UK has become a 51st state of America at this point. Let's be fucking real. Okay. So that is what this video is about. It's not about her album. It's actually about her connection to defense systems and defense weaponry, and also use of the occult. Okay. Now, there's a video that I want to show you guys. I've saved it on my drive because they took it down from TikTok. Right. So there's a video that I want to show you. Let me try and get the speakers on and see if that works. Hang on. So this is, yeah, it's fucking low. Damn. I'm gonna have to charge this after. So this is what I want you guys to take a look at. Okay. So this is, some footage from Taylor Swift's concert. And, this thing is talking about Taylor Swift being Islamophobic. So let me just, click on this. Hold on a minute. For fuck's sake. Sorry. Okay, one selected. Can you play? The video's not playing yet. Hang on. Let me just see. Let's see. Can you play, please? I don't know what's going on with this thing. It's supposed to be playing. Oh, here it is. Okay. So it's playing now. Watch very carefully what happens here. Okay, the ring light's getting in the way. Can you see? I don't know if you guys can see, like my face is completely covered here. All right. Can you guys see it? I very doubt you'd be able to see that properly. Hang on. So, hold on. Yeah, I'm still playing. Hold on. So, if you can see it, I'm going to explain what you were looking at in a minute. All right. So, if you couldn't see it properly, it was Taylor Swift standing atop a black cube with candles on the front. Usually the candles reflect both vigils and something holy to do with religion, right? So she's standing on this black cube that has like candles on the front, white candles. Again, they can either be lit for vigils or they can be lit for religious reasons, or both, right? And what a lot of people are noticing is that the black cube resembles something called the Kaaba. The Kaaba is a holy site, which is a black cube, and it is in Mecca, which is supposed to be the holiest land for those who follow Islam, for people who are Muslim. Okay, so Taylor Swift is standing on something resembling the Kaaba, and as it descends, she sings, don't make me, don't make me, don't make me, look what you made me do. And she sings that, like, I think about 3 times, again, 3s, before the cube descends. So 3 is an occult number, then the cube descends. So that's symbolic of bringing the cube down, bringing down Islamic power, bringing down the power of Islam, right? So it's after she sings those words that the cube descends. And then after the cube descends, she walks off singing, I don't like your kingdom keys. They once belonged to me. You asked me for a place to sleep, locked me out and threw a feast. This is a spell. Okay. This is spell work specifically designed to engage in spiritual warfare against Muslim people and against the Muslims, right? Now, I've explained to you guys before that all religions, all Abrahamic faiths are engaged in this holy war together. There are no innocent parties here. The only innocent parties are the people on ground level that are victims of the violence. The only victims here are the people on the ground level, the people like the people among the masses. They are the only victims here. They are the only real victims here. But in terms of religion, nobody is a victim, especially Abrahamic faiths that basically got their power through killing and conquest and the subjugation of women, the subjugation of minorities. There are no innocent parties here when it comes to the Abrahamic faiths. All of them are anti-black. All of them are misogynist. All of them are anti-queer. Yeah. There are no innocent parties when it comes to the religions themselves. But there are innocent Palestinians being slaughtered here. We've got to be real about it. And with rituals like this, they're specifically designed not only to, ensure that Israel has a state of its own by displacing and slaughtering Palestinians, they're also trying to do it by affecting the Muslim religion as a whole. You see, Hamas talked about eradicating Jewish people. You can see it. It's right there on their manifesto. But this is the thing. Hamas have been talking about it, but the Z word people have actually been doing it. They don't talk about it. They're actually doing it. That's the difference. They're not saying these things to get people stoked up, get people hype and get people to do certain things. No, they're fucking doing it. And whilst they're doing it, they're painting a picture that justifies them being able to do it. They're doing rituals like this, like on Taylor's stage, to be able to do it. And on top of that, they are using defense technology on top of the occult symbolism. They are using defense technology. And it's not just on the Palestinians. It's not just on Muslim people. It's on everyone. Now, stay with me here. There are people who have gone to Taylor Swift's concert. There was one particular story on an insider edition where a fan went to Taylor Swift's concert and said that after she went to the concert, she had no memory of what actually happened. Now, if you talk to a lot of targeted individuals, they have had experiences like this where there are certain things that they just clean forget, right? Now, that can be a number of things. That could be hypnosis via V2K, which is definitely a thing. It can be beamed en masse, or it could be the hacking of brain frequency modulation, like what happens to me and God knows how many other TIs. Or it could simply be a brain injury caused by directed energy weapons, which is less likely. But sure enough, this fan leaves Taylor Swift's concert not remembering a fucking thing. And they're not even the only one, right? There are other people who have been to Taylor Swift's concert claiming that they don't remember anything after they've been. So most likely those people were already targeted individuals. That's the first thing. Second thing is that that's defense weaponry. So Taylor Swift, in order for her fan base to grow and everything else, defense weaponry has been used. Social behavioral technology has been used to augment her sales and to augment her fandom. I don't think she's the only pop star that this has happened to. I think this has happened to Nicki Minaj. I think this has happened to Beyonce. I think this has happened to not Jay-Z, but like Jay-Z, like pushing it behind Beyonce, right? I think this has happened to a number of celebrities. Like they've had their fan base augmented by these electronic weaponry. There's one particular person that I'm being reminded of now, but I'm not going to say anything, right? But fan bases can be augmented by this defense weaponry that hacks people's brain frequency modulations and that sends V2K suggestions. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? So that performance that you saw of Taylor Swift, that's just one example of what I'm talking about here. Now that we're getting into the middle, now we got to go back to the beginning, right? Now we got to go back to the beginning. Where's the other notes that I made? Now we've got to go back to the beginning. We have to go back to her parents. Now, not much is known about Andrea Swift, but what is known is that her father was an engineer. I don't know what kind of engineer her father was, but her father was an engineer who worked throughout Southeast Asia. Okay. So let's find out more about her dad. Let's find out more. Her daddy was Robert Bruce Finley, and he worked as an engineer through Southeast Asia. I don't know what kind of engineer he actually was. If he worked in the military, that would be very interesting. He would, yeah, Cleveland, Ohio. Oh my fucking God. Check this, right? Andrea Swift, Taylor Swift's mother. Andrea Swift had a grandfather called Robert Bruce Finley. I suspected this. I suspected as much. Robert Bruce Finley served in the United States military. Now, remember what I've said to you guys before. It doesn't matter how small or how seemingly insignificant the contribution is to the military. Once the military has its hooks in you, you either become a target or you become a perpetrator or you become both. Okay. There is no in between, right? So the fact that he served in the United States military, and then on top of that, his mother was a marketing executive for a mutual fund. And remember, mutual funds make bank. So her mother was a marketing executive, mind you. She was high up on the ladder before she became a homemaker to Taylor. So there is already military lineage in her family. Again, I'm a targeted individual. There's military and civil service stuff going on in my family, right? So with Taylor Swift, there's military in her family. So already we know what's up. From time military's in the picture, forget it. Forget it. You're a target, you're a purple, both. For fucking get it. Simple things, right? So Andrea Swift was a marketing executive, and on top of that had a military background. So most likely, if there are any defense contracts that surround like wherever Taylor Swift plays, or like if there are any defense contracts within Taylor Swift's family, it's most likely coming through her mother's side. Although, given who her father has been a financial advisor for, it could easily be coming through her father as well. So both her parents are connected to government and military already. That was before their kids were even, that's before Taylor even became Taylor Swift, right? So you got Andrea Swift, marketing executive for mutual funds. She's the current principal employee of 13 Management. Basically, she's the boss of 13 Management in everything but name, right? Like giving Tywin Lannister vibes over there. So we've got Scott Kingsley Swift. That's Taylor's dad. Taylor's the one who is, I think he actually bought a record company so that Taylor could be the star of it. I'm not sure though. I have to look. So Scott Kingsley Swift, is a financial advisor. He was a financial advisor for a company called Merrill Lynch. Now, unless you're financially minded, unless you've been studying economics, a lot of us in the UK are not going to know what Merrill Lynch is. So let me explain it to you. Merrill Lynch is a financial planning company that has been operational since 1914, but who were recently owned by the Bank of America or acquired by the Bank of America in 2009. So now Merrill Lynch operates as a financial advisory arm of the Bank of America. That's who Scott Kingsley Swift worked for or works for. So he had a huge Merrill Lynch portfolio, and on top of that, he basically invested in Big Machine Records, basically inflated his daughter's sales within that record label. Now, this is nothing new. Sales are inflated all the time. That, you know, in order to make money, you got to spend money. So like inflated sales, nothing new. But Taylor Swift's dad had more of a part in his daughter's music career than I think her mum did. I think her mum was more on the business side, on the corporate side, ironically. And Taylor Swift's dad was literally investing money into his daughter. So I feel like, yeah, he had that arm of it, whereas her mother had the potential military connections. Well, she had definitely had military connections through her granddad, innit? So military connections, government connections on Andrea's side. On Scott Kingsley's side, you had the financial angle. Now get this, right? Because Scott Kingsley was a financial advisor, he has advised both Republicans and Democrats. He has actually advised Donald Trump. Okay. He's advised Donald Trump before. So he's played both sides of the political fence. Again, nothing new. You're talking about money. Money does not give a shit about politics. Money cares about whatever feeds it. So yeah, so basically these are some powerful ass people like Andrea Swift, Scott Kingsley Swift, very upper class, very powerful people with lineages that made them a shoo-in, not only for Taylor Swift's career, but for any defense contracts or, you know, any other contracts revolving around Taylor Swift's career. Okay. So those are her parents. Those are her parents. Now, yeah. Now let's get back to the present moment. Let's get back to the life of a showgirl and everything surrounding it. Now I got all this from a TikTok video. I can't remember which TikTok video I got this from, but once I get it, I will show it to you guys. So everything that I'm saying is not my own idea, but there's a connection between sports in America and the military. And this is just me injecting my own thing into it. But I believe the reason why the sports and military are so tightly wound together is because the military is actually how America became America. Remember, the Tea Party, the American Revolution, the revolution was violent. The revolution involved arms. So there's a distinct connection between Americana and the military, patriotism and the military. Basically, as this TikToker said, the NFL, the National Football League, is basically a military parade. All right. And what the NFL does as a sport, or what it has as a sport, is 70% black players, 100% white owners, and 70% white viewers. So it's specifically designed to appeal to a white audience. And it's also a military pageant, basically, you know, having the flag and showing off the flag and all that type of stuff, having veterans coming out, having, you know, the sport, thank the troops and things like that. So it's a military pageant. That's what the NFL is supposed to be. A sport. It's a sport on the surface, but beneath that, it is a military pageant. And whenever they have a golden boy of the NFL, even though it's 70% black players, the golden boy, that becomes the face of the NFL, they're usually quarterbacks and they're usually white. All right. So, Peyton Manning is one example. Like that's one example of a white golden boy QB. Yeah. Remember it's 70% white viewers, right? So they want a white golden boy, even though it's 70% black players. So basically knowing that, when you really know and understand that, you will know and understand why when Colin Kaepernick kneeled, even though kneeling is a military gesture, when Colin Kaepernick kneeled for Black Lives Matter, you will understand why he was fired from the NFL and never asked to return, even though he got a hefty payout for that shit. Right? So, after Colin Kaepernick was silenced and paid off, the protest was co-opted in order to bring Jay-Z back into the fold. Jay-Z, the owner of Roc Nation, was brought into the fold to pacify white audiences with Kendrick Lamar, with Beyonce herself, Bruno Mars, like where there were more black and brown artists brought in via Roc Nation to pacify black audience by, listen to this, by farming white rage and farming white fear. This is exactly what I'm talking about when I say fear and anger brings revenue, because whatever makes the so-called enemy side angry and fearful, that is what brings the target audience in. Do you understand now? Now do you understand why everything happened the way it happened with the NFL? Now do you understand why the right-wing media has been making so much ground lately? It's because outrage is being farmed so that the target audience can feel powerful. You don't start off appealing to your target audience. You start off by attacking your enemies. That's how marketing works. Even if it's lies you're telling, once you attack your enemies, you attack the enemies of your target audience first. Then you bring in your target audience that way. Oh, this person's saying what needs to be said. Yeah, Kendrick was used for that. Kendrick Lamar was used for that, right? So it was perfect. Kendrick Lamar just wanted his beef with Drake. Nobody really likes Drake. Ironically, Drake, the only thing he wanted more than anything was to be liked. But now nobody likes him. Everybody thinks he's a joke. And he keeps making it worse because he thinks he has more power than he actually has. I don't care if he's Jewish. I don't care if he's white Jewish. He's still biracial. They're not going to give him the same power as they give a Taylor Swift. It's as simple as that. It's as simple as that, right? So Jay-Z brought in Kendrick Lamar to pacify people. Now, when it comes to the NFL, right? The NFL via Travis Kelce have been connected to American Eagle Outfitters. American Eagle Outfitters were the ones who put out that Sydney Sweeney ad, right? My jeans are blue. That advert, right? That everybody mocks the fuck out of, right? That everybody mocks the fuck out of, right? So it was that infamous Sydney Sweeney ad, American Eagle Outfitters. Okay. So they farmed out outrage, silenced Sydney Sweeney temporarily, right? Even though again, she's slowly but steadily gaining ground again. And then, American Eagle Outfitters, after the whole Sydney Sweeney thing, Travis Kelce, Taylor Swift's fiance, he actually made his own line with TK on it. And it's the same logo that Donald Trump's, I said Donald Trump in it. I'm sorry, that Donald Trump's granddaughter used in her merch. So Travis Kelce had his own TK line in American Eagle Outfitters, same one that did that genocidal advert. And then on top of that, Donald Trump's granddaughter created merchandise with that TK thing. So it's very obvious where NFL are aligned here. Okay. Now, when it comes to Travis Kelce, he's not actually a quarterback, right? Hang on a minute. I'm going to bring this up now. So Travis Kelce is not actually a quarterback. He's a tight end, right? Hang on a sec. So basically, what happened is the reason why Travis Kelce became the golden boy of the NFL and not someone else. The reason why a tight end became the face of the NFL rather than a quarterback is because the quarterback that was successful, that could have been a golden boy of the NFL, was actually biracial. And the one drop rule doesn't just apply on the black side, it also applies on the white side. If you ain't white, you ain't getting in. So there should have been another guy, I can't remember his name, that should have been a golden boy to the NFL because he was a quarterback and because he was a very successful one. But because he wasn't white, who became the NFL golden boy instead? It became Travis Kelce. Now, quarterbacks, the tight ends are the ones that are used as blockers to protect the quarterback during passing plays, right? In American football. And what quarterbacks are is the ones who lead the offense in football. So arguably, the quarterback lines up behind the center and they are usually the ones who are like, if I'm going to really like put my mind together, it seems like the quarterback is the one who is the most responsible for helping the other players win. It's usually the quarterback. The quarterback is the star of the show, right? But Travis Kelce is a tight end. He protects the quarterback. And the reason why he's been made into the golden boy for the NFL is because he's white. And then on top of that, having Taylor Swift there, a billionaire woman who is playing to the MAGA crowd, that's perfect for the NFL. That's perfect for the NFL because then they can increase the power and the palpability of the white conservative movement. Okay. So yeah, Travis Kelce, Taylor Swift, it's 100%, it's 100% a business move. And they've already brought in $1 billion of ad revenue. $1 billion of ad revenue. How long have they been together? They haven't been together long. And they've already brought $1 billion in ad revenue. That's what we're dealing with here. Let's get to the GOPT. GOP, meaning, yeah. Okay, so American Eagle Outfitters have connections to the Republican Party. And the reason for this is because American Eagle Outfitters, it wasn't just American Eagle Outfitters that appealed to white conservatives. It was also Target. That's why there is all this like kind of backlash against Target in America, because they removed their DEI initiatives upon Trump asking them to do it. And what ended up happening was that Taylor Swift ended up partnering with Target. Again, £1 billion ad revenue. So this is, so yeah, all of this is connected. Now, let me come back to the concerts. Let me come back to Taylor Swift's concerts, right? We know that the military play a major part in American politics. And we know that sports and military are often paired together. Anything to do with, so basically just like entertainment and religion are often paired together. Remember the Illuminati talks, entertainment and religion are often paired together. Or entertainment and the occult are often paired together because the occult is used. We have sports and warfare paired as well because they both revolve around rivalry. And on top of that, in America, the military is a big part of Americana because, again, the American Revolution. America happened through violence. It didn't happen through, and it's a young country too. So yeah, that's Americana. Now let's get back to Britain. What does this have to do with Britain? Now, admittedly, this is where things get real loose. Okay. Where there are real loose connections. First of all, I understand what I am about to say is very controversial. And I understand that this is not to cheapen the struggles of those who are grieving and who have had to deal with the aftermath of this tragedy. But I have to talk about Southport. Now, remember Taylor Swift's symbolism and remember the person who wounded and killed those children, Axel Rudakabana. Axel Rudakabana was born in this country, but he was a Black Muslim who killed and was responsible for the murders of white children. Now, remember, come back to the defense weaponry, come back to the targeting, right? There are ways in which frequency weaponry is used. There are ways in which the moods of people are elevated or descended according to what weapons are being used and how, right? A lot of these murders, a lot of the violence that is going on in the world is being racialized. And the military, the US and the UK military, are responsible for this. Why did Axel Rudakabana specifically wait until a Taylor Swift event to kill these children? I believe that was planned. Remember, there were violent fixations that Axel Rudakabana had. I'm not talking about me because I've been reported for less than that, for less than what Axel Rudakabana has done. Axel Rudakabana was like, there were pleas for help from his own parents. Please help us. He's got violent fixations. Please help us. Please help us. Please help us. He was deliberately ignored. That makes me realize that Axel Rudakabana was both a TI and a perpetrator. Because why does this boy have violent fixations and you're just ignoring them unless the military had a hand in creating violent fixations in this boy? Because it's happened before. Shia LaBeouf went from being just a normal guy to being an abusive piece of shit who fucking caused brain injuries and things like that. When it comes to FKA Twigs, the shit that she went through, the shit he put her through, the shit he's putting Mia Goth through right now. Watch what Shia LaBeouf revealed about the military. He said he talked to a military agent. To find out exactly what they knew about him. The FBI person reported to him with a straight face a particular conversation that Shia LaBeouf had over the phone. Ever since he revealed that to the press, that's when we started hearing more stories about him self-destructing. That's when we started hearing more stories about him being an abusive piece of shit. Now, again, these weapons can only work with what's already there. Okay. So he is responsible ultimately for what he does. But the worst parts of his nature were augmented deliberately because he was a fucking target. It is the same with Axel Rudakabana. And you mean to tell me the same Taylor Swift whose music was used, whose art was used potentially to facilitate a massacre. That same Taylor Swift is now bribing the Prime Minister to enter the country. Bribing the Prime Minister with tickets as a thank you for entering, for allowing her to come into the country and do a concert. There's no way. There's no fucking way. And then on top of that, the violence from the far right. Remember when I said to you that violence was fucking weaponized? Now, I said in one of my videos, I said in Marsha the Too Great, in a video here, I said that white people as a whole, they're more easily discouraged, especially those who grew up around privilege. They're more easily discouraged, and being more easily discouraged means you're more prone to anger and apathy and self-loathing. You're more prone to these things, right? What I believe is going on is that whatever racist sentiments were already there was like a waiting period until white anger reached a crescendo, and then it was tipped over the edge. So even white violence is weaponized not only against black and brown people, but also against white people. Those same defense frequencies have been used to facilitate the far right movement. The 3 Million Moron March, facilitated by defense weaponry. Remember, Tommy Robinson is a Z word, proud Z word. Stephen Yaxley Lennon, proud Z word. Proud Z word. Yeah, he said it on camera. And remember, like there are Israeli creative intelligence services everywhere, working with government, working with major corporations. All of this is connected, like the defense weaponry, the use of defense weaponry, the gang stalking, racialized violence. All of that is connected. You notice how people are dropping like flies from cancer and all the rest of it. That is not by accident. That's defense weaponry. That's defense weaponry. Like all these celebrities dropping like flies. Why is this happening? That's defense weaponry. And that's also a part of the occult. Because if you're doing evil deeds and you need magical energy for these evil deeds, you need to make sacrifices. You need to make sacrifices. This evil society that is being propped up, it needs sacrifices to keep it running. Donald Trump is not liked. The current conservative leaning people are not liked. They're feared and hated. So in order for them to keep their power, it involves more loss of life as sacrifice. Loose connections. I said it was loose connections, but put it all together. You got Taylor Swift that has defense, that more likely has defense contracts behind her. You got a mother whose grandfather was part of the military. Taylor Swift's grandfather was a military man. There's military connections there. Both Taylor Swift's parents have basically been stricken with cancer. Both her parents. Again, T.I. and Perp all at once. So this whole thing with Taylor Swift is so much bigger than just her farming outrage from black women. This is so much bigger than that. She has been and the thing about Britain, the thing that really fucks a lot of Britons over, the thing that fucks a lot of British people over is the fact that when it comes to incorporation of the military, Britain is quieter about it. They're quieter about it. They effortlessly integrated defense systems with stuff like Formula One. How many British people around the country are talking about Formula One? Do you understand what I'm saying? Formula One is one of the companies that are integrated with defense systems. So let me just see. BAE sponsored sports. Okay, so I'm looking up some sports funded by BAE Systems, which is a defense weapons company. So BAE Systems have sponsored a variety of sports like cycling, skeleton bobsleigh, athletics, sailing, rowing. How many of these are things like football? Yeah. Let's see Raytheon. How many of these things are sponsoring things like football? They're sponsoring things that are, quite frankly, like upper class sports like most people are not watching. Do you understand what I mean? And as for Raytheon yeah, Raytheon sponsors sports that are specifically revolved around the UK Armed Forces and the Royal Air Force. So it's specifically for military based events. And in this country, we don't put emphasis on military. We put emphasis on academics here. Over here, there's emphasis on academics and the royal family. If anyone's going to be revolved around the military, it would be the royal family, wouldn't it? Yet how often do they have parades? Not often. Sports happens all the time. Music happens all the time. So by embedding the military within more upper class pursuits, this is how the UK are able to keep their affiliations with the military pretty much hidden. I've been to electrosensitivity conferences, well, at least one. It's a sea of fucking white. It's a sea of white middle class people. Do you understand what I'm saying? So all of that's why for British people, even though we have a tight-knit community of TIs over here, this is why it's more difficult to actually catch the UK in the act. And all we can do is make loose connections over here, is because the military is very, everything in the UK is tied very much to class. Do you understand now? It's tied very much to class. Literally every TI or TI/perp that I've run into, they've come from wealthy families in this country. Now, you could have a TI who's poor. You could have a TI who comes from a poor background. It happens all the time. But the ones that I've met, either they've been connected to Freemasonry in some way or connected to the military in some way. The military is connected to class. That's why when it happens to working class people in this country, when it happens to anyone who appears to be poor, people are less likely to believe it over here. Because this is not a poor people first country. This is an elites first country. That's why, like, the connection between, Taylor Swift and defense systems, they're less likely to be connected over here. And all we can do is make loose connections. Oh, she bribed someone from over here in the UK, like she bribed the UK Prime Minister with tickets. Oh, we had the NFL over here. We've had the NFL over here in the UK since 2007. All of this was done quietly. Do you understand what I mean? Which makes defense systems harder to track. Now, the relationship between the US and the UK has become more obvious. There have been information on British people sold to the Americans, which makes gang stalking easier for both the US and the UK. Now there's the digital ID thing through Easy Dynamics, which further cements the relationship between the US and the UK. But other than that, because of the class structure over here in the UK, that's why it's more difficult to make the connections. But I guarantee you, Taylor Swift being a billionaire and the connections with the US military and the UK military and the Z word, and the fact that there are creative intelligence agencies out there that I've already named that have ties to both the US, the UK, and Israel. Taylor Swift is connected to all of this. And I've talked about this before. Don't let a damn thing fool you. Okay? Don't let a damn thing fool you. And all of this race war stuff, They know how to touch our buttons. They know there's fear and anger around race because nobody is willing to be honest. I saw a video from Leo Muhammad saying that melanated people, I'm going to be real careful with this. I heard teachings from Leo Muhammad talking about how white folk as we know them were created, basically created, right? And I did say that black folk were older. I didn't say that, that white folk were created, but apparently white folk were created. White folk are not the original race on this planet. I think everybody with a brain knows that, but apparently white folk were created. And look what's happening now to black people because of what white people have done. Nobody is honest about race. Black folk are not honest about the possibilities of this creation of white folk theory or where that comes from or all that type of stuff. Like, we're not honest about that. Just like white people are not honest about what they've done to us and how deep the damage is and how much they've wrecked the planet, basically doing what they've done to us. And brown people are not honest about their desire to be in close proximity to whiteness out of fear, which means they downgrade black people, even though everybody started black. Fear and anger is a very easy thing to stoke in people around race because nobody wants to be the villain. Black people don't want to be the villain. White people don't want to be the villain. Brown people don't want to be the villain. And as long as all of us don't want to be the bad guy, it will lead to situations like this where race is weaponized against people. Where race is weaponized against people and gender is weaponized against people. In fact, misogyny started all this shit. But misogyny is quiet. Racism is loud. Until people are honest about what we contributed to the world and why we did what we did, unless we're honest about it and we do our very best to clean up the mess, to work together to clean up the mess, and we own up. Unless we do that, we are still going to continue to blame each other, to throw dirt on each other, to continue this fucking cycle of violence and destruction. It's the race thing and our inability to be honest about it that is leading to warfare and bloodshed and people sticking their heads in the sand. We're not honest, and that is what's causing all of this. That is what's causing all of this. We're not honest about our role in what's going on. None of us are. I don't care what race you are. None of us are fucking honest. Everybody wants to act like the bad guy. Everybody wants to act like the bad guy, but they don't want to play the bad guy. They don't want to be seen as a bad guy. And now it's getting to a point where, the people who recognize that, the people at the so-called top who recognize that, they're using our fear and our hatred not just to colonize our bodies and our minds, which have already been done. Now they're colonizing spirit and soul as well. Remember, brain frequency modulation is the control of your emotions, your spirit, and your soul, your energetic field. Because people are not honest. Now there's this fucking desire to colonize your spirit and your soul to not only conquer this material plane, but also to conquer the astral plane too. This shit is deeply embedded. Who controls how we tell the time? Who controls the months of the year? We get the months of the year. Those are Roman names. My name, my birth name, a Roman name. Come on now, be fucking for real. It's getting out of control. Unless we're honest about the part that we play in what's going on here, the human race will never be free. And people like Taylor Swift will keep making bank off of us only for us to turn around and say, well, you know, she's the villain. She's the villain. She's made billions of dollars. She's made billions of dollars. She couldn't have done that without us. She couldn't have done that without the masses. We need to be honest, because when we're not, people like Taylor Swift and Ryan Reynolds and people like Taylor Swift's parents, people like Travis Kelce, they will continue to make bank off the people that we pretend to be. Dead the shit. Stop lying. And now I gotta go. Peace and blessings. I have been Empress I have been Empress Justice. I was going to say Empress the Great. Dead all that shit. This has been Empress Marsha the Great and Just, because I'm putting all the names together. This has been Empress Marsha the Great and Just. And this has been a joint video for my 2 accounts. I will see you in the next I will see you in the next video. I will see you for the reading, okay? But I had to get this out. This had to be talked about. I don't think this was a very good video. But yeah, let's see. So yeah. Peace and blessings. Bye bye now.